is, so the current agenda is very simple. So I will go to the current state of the e-commerce experience, which can be easily relatable by some of the e-commerce managers here, right? And then why and how generative AI can solve, right? And why it is so powerful. And I won't go into a lot of details about the models, but certainly I will go into details that are necessary and feel a sense of why it's so important in the e-commerce sector, right? The third one is it's very important for e-commerce managers, right? Where I will go some of the applications and our experience and our customer who have used it, how they're profiting a little bit on the conversion side. We'll also talk about that, right? So guys, I like to tell stories, right? Let me start with the story, right? What is this current experience of the e-commerce today, right? So 2 years ago, my son is turning 8 years old, and he wanted a fish tank, right, for his birthday. So we went online and we went to PetSmart, right? And then we bought this nice, beautiful aquarium, which I think both of us liked, right? And we bought it. And then a day later, we went to PetSmart again, and then trying to buy something very relevant to aquarium, right? The fish feeders, fish heater, water heater, all of that kind of stuff, external accessories that are required to put an aquarium together, we need it, right? And then we searched on PetSmart. It was very tough to find a very relevant products that are suitable for our aquarium, right? We have some kind of measurements. We don't need bigger heaters. We need perfect sizes that we bought. We tried and we tried and we gave up, right? And we saw something very interesting, dog feeds and whatnot. So that is not the experience that we're expecting, right? And then the result is very, very simple. So we left to Amazon, right? And they got the business. But what is that all to do with, what is that PetSmart left on the table? Let's see something, right? So they left immediately on the table 30 to 40% revenue on the table. So that's a big number, right? Immediate, right? Within like probably a couple of days, they left almost 13% on fish, 7.9% water conditioner and rest, right? And that's a big money that they left on the table. And the next is the much worse is the customer lifetime value. Or 5 years, right? I would have bought hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of product, right? And overall, if you look into it, 85% of revenue was left by PetSmart because they are not able to provide the right experience for me to come, right? They're not helping me. They're not guiding me. They got a poor experience, right? And that resulted in a big loss for PetSmart despite spending millions of dollars, right, on this experience, on setting up this website to the experience software. All of that is not working for PetSmart at all. So, and those that do even some kind of personalization, something that we observe is they don't really understand the shopper. They don't really understand the product and how they're related together. For example, if I buy an aquarium and then someone buys about dog food, right? Both get to see the same product, same view across all of our experience. And that is not a great experience, especially if you want to convert in the new era of Amazon dominance or Walmart dominance. It's very important that you understand your shoppers, your products, and how they're related. And unfortunately, after that, I sat and then I did research across web, right? And I got a list of 400 top websites across the world, and they looked at it across, right? And they're spending millions, if not billions of dollars on this kind of software, buying or building in-house. And turns out 92% of the websites are failing to meet the full potential. And they include big boxes to mid-market to small market companies. So that's a very disturbing trend that we're seeing, giving the poor experience. That's not just for PetSmart, but it's a very widespread problem across the e-commerce merchants. And interestingly, what's happening due to all of that poor experience is the profits are declining, right? So I will give some staggering numbers here, right? 47% of the shoppers bounce out within 8 seconds after landing on the site. They've already spent millions of dollars on the ads so that the shopper come in, and then to realize that the shoppers are bouncing in 8 seconds, that means the 50% of the ad spend is gone out of the window within first 8 seconds, which is very, very disturbing and also waste of money, right? So that's something that that's very bigger problem. And also what's happening is, right, as the new trends are evolving, one is automation, second one is cookieless. The ability to retarget customer will also go down drastically, right? So for example, if I go and try to go to Nordstrom and try to buy a shirt, they will start retargeting, right? The good thing is, right, these cookies will enable you to retarget the ones that you try to buy something, but at the same time, the cookies are not real time, right? What does that mean? That means that I might have already changed my mind in buying the shirt, or I might have already bought it. I won't buy it, so it's a waste of money as well. So there's a lot of problems with how the cookie retargeting is working. And whatever that left, the efficacy left in the cookies will be gone in next year, right? Because Google, everybody, big companies in the browsers are going cookieless, and that will also be a big problem in how the merchants are going to retarget. So why are these companies failing, right? The first thing, if you look into the list, right, the top 4 things that came up. One is that they're using old technology. So the technology vendors who are providing these solutions probably built the solutions around 2008, right? And mostly they're transactions. They're looking at transactions. They don't understand shoppers. They don't understand products and how they're related. So they're purely, oh, if somebody bought this, this is the one that we need to shop. They don't have any jolt of information about a shopper or a product. But if they want to go to the new technology, it is too hard to implement, right? The AI technology, the data collections, which I will go through, it's too hard for them to implement. So often they are stuck with the old technologies. And as I talked about, the third one is cookies are going away. So the retargeting will almost become an inefficient tool for the merchants to attract shoppers to buy. And then also some of these products that exist in the market, like Bloomreach to Dynamic Yield, they take too long to implement. And then also the ROI is not clear. And if you look into recent report that Gartner came out, is that if these current vendors who are building this technology persist the way they're building it, 80% of the marketers will abandon the personalization effort by 2025. That means that the entire industry, right, is going to go upside down, right? So how are we going to fix it, right? The key to this is generative AI. And I will go a little bit about why it is important, how it is going to change, how we're going to do commerce. But before that, this is mostly for technology people who really want to understand a little bit about the generative AI, and also who wants to build their existing solutions on the generative AI, or if they're looking for vendors who can provide this technology for them, right? So I'll give a little bit of introduction. What is this generative AI shopping experience means, right? So the three key components in generative AI experience. The first one is about the data, right? And that too, the first party data. The first party data includes your shopper clickstream, right? How your shoppers are interacting in real time. And then your products, right? And these products is a very, very important component, and the surrounding content around it. The product description, the product images, the product reviews, all of them are really important part in understanding and building a new shopping experience, right? And the next thing it goes is through enrichment. What does that mean? So we take this clickstream user and use AI to build a customer persona. And the key thing to it is building in real time, which is almost difficult as well. Is the key, but difficult to build, right? The second part is how do we enrich this product data, right? For example, if you have products, most of the time, 98% of the merchants who are selling the products, they have miscategorized it, or don't have a right product description, or the images are not good, right? So let alone targeting and placing the right product. To do that, you need to enrich the products. Now, once you do that, you do a neural optimization. What does that mean? So as a shopper is building, interacting with the site, we're building in real time what exactly the shopper intent is, and also how it is related to how they're related to the product they want to buy, and continuously optimizing through ranking system, which is a very important in real time, right? The reason is today's shopper have a very short span, probably less than 3 seconds of short span, and they will move to do TikTok or Instagram or something like that, right? You got to provide as much as information as possible, giving them the right products that they can convert. And that optimization has to be continuously going on. Let's go into a little bit detail. What does that mean, right? When I talked about enrichment. Enrichment is all about the intelligence that we can gather that could be resulting into conversion, right? The first is the product intelligence, right? The product intelligence mostly happens, almost 80% of the things happens offline. That means that we extract various concepts, various features, various concepts, and then how those features are related to other products is a very key thing, right? Then the second part is shopper intelligence, which is a very important thing, is that the shopper continuously sending signals in real time, right? So for example, you might be interested in a red t-shirt right now, but in the past you have shown interest in green shirt. So how do we relate that recency, right? Should we show green shirt or should we show red shirt, right? How do we balance out the recency? And recency plays a big role, because most of the times your buying habits do change based on your personal changes, right? For example, you might have kids, or you might be buying for someone else. There are a lot of the things that can change your buying persona at this point in time compared to your historical point, right? So how do we balance that out? Shopper intelligence is something very critical, and I will go in detail of how we have built that shopper intelligence in real time using session data, right? The last but not least is the content intelligence. It's a very important. Your product images, your product reviews, product description, product specifications are a very key concepts that needs to be related to product, right? And as you understand this, you can effectually connect with what shopper intent is. And once you do that, then your discovery services rest on top of it, right? Your discovery services could be recommendations, search, category pages, segmentation, whatever it is, right? These all discovery services have to feed off from this intelligence, which is real time as well as an offline. So since this conversation or this event is about the LLM workflow, right? LLMs and how the e-commerce. So some of the technology I'm going to talk about is how we have implemented and how what our learnings are, right? So there are three key components to LLM workflow stack for us, right? One is offline, the other one is real time, and the third one is an external agents we call, right? So if you look into the first one, which is mostly the offline, so we gather this clickstream data, we gather the PIM data constantly and periodically, right? In real time, we get clickstream data, of course, right? And then we are crunching this through large language models to basically understand the product details, product specification, any changes in the prices, any new products, right? Building new categories, new product description, whatsoever, right? These LLMs are constantly building that product information. And also this feed off in offline into optimizer, which is a ranking algorithm, which I just talked about, the neural optimization that needs to go, right? So this mostly in a high level, this is the offline. And then there is a real-time component, right? As a user, as a shopper browsing his activities, he's sending a lot of signals. The signals could be from the search, from product interactions, from offers and whatnot, right? And they get into this memory model we call, right? Session memory model. So each user profile in real time, we're building this session data, right? And mostly these are extracted through the embeddings that we create. So there are primarily two embeddings that are most important to us. One is the shopper embedding. The other one is the product embedding, right? And these are constantly updated through offline and then constantly being used in the memory model to build the session data, right? And again, this is a little bit technical, but for technical people, but the key thing to understand is it's very important, right, to do a real-time profile building that is essential for understanding the intent and ability to convert, right? And at the same time, the offline also building the shopper behavior, which is historical data. And now let's make a workflow, right? A user comes in or a shopper comes into your merchant site, and then they might do a search request or a recommendation, right? Then the next thing that happens is that as we're building this in-memory model about the shopper, this converts into an embedded, right? Embedding a bunch of embedding models that goes into retrieval engine. And the retrieval engine basically maps into the product pin storage, which is a product storage, right? Products that needs to be surfaced out for the search queries or for products for recommendation, right? And then it maps into the shopper behavior, historical data, along with the current real-time data. And then it sends it both the data to optimizer, and the optimizer often goes and then ranks all of the products that needs to be ranked within mostly how effective or the probability of conversion, right? That is the ranking algorithm that we optimized for. And then it displays those products. It might be search, it might be your badging, or it might be your recommendation, right? It might be your frequently bought, whatever it is. Mostly those are effectually personalized, ranked based on your current session, the historical session, and your product data and how they relate. And sometimes, right, especially for commerce, so conversational commerce, the chat, they might go out if we don't have an appropriate answer, they might go out into an external LLM APIs, right? So there might be ChatGPT. We're using ChatGPT as well as Cohere APIs, right? So there is a prompt engineering. So what we do is whenever the chat do happens and we don't understand the chat relevance to that shopping, the e-commerce site, in those cases, we build a prompt that goes out into the chat GPT or any other external APIs, bring that, and then able to effectively have a dialogue with shoppers as well. Now, this is how the ranking looks. It's a very, very important. As I talked about, there's the product features, which is mostly an embedding, the user features that are historical, and the session related, which are talked about a bunch of embedding models that are built in real time, right? And they all feed into ranking algorithms, which is optimized just for conversion, right? So that is an optimization function that gives you ranked results, and which will be differ for Matt to Venkat, or it might be different for me, right? It's totally different based on how I'm interacting with the site in real time, how my previous historical interests were, and what are the right products that we need to put forward, right? So that's all at a very high level, 1,000 feet level, right? But I want to go a little bit deeper, LLMs in the interest of like technology people. So the thing to all of this, LLMs or ChatGPT or even vision models that are coming is transformers. I think you might have heard about in 2019, there is a paper that came out of Google, which is named All We Need is Attention, right? All we need is attention, something like that. So that paper really is a seminal paper of how this transformers, this attention mechanism works. That is a foundation of all the LLMs today that we see, right? GPT-4, GPT 4.5, BARD, all of that is based on this transformers. And so that is so seminal that I really call those are the new transistors, right? Transistors, when they came out, they really changed the game of how we compute. As you put more transistors, it becomes more powerful, right? Same thing, right? The transformers, it's the same thing. A transformer is basically a unit would sit in each of these encoders and decoders algorithms, right? So basically, if you, to make it very simple, as you send text, right? The text could be any of your, like, ask a question, generate me a product description for my product, or categorize this product, given a product description. So these are some of the use cases, or understand the sentiment of the product reviews, right? All can be fed into this encoder. Encoder goes to this layer, and then it feeds into the decoder, and basically that's where your output comes up, right? So that is basically the encoder and decoder mechanism. And they put more encoders, more decoders, and then build effective models by training, right? So let's go into a little bit of deep of what these transformers are. The transformer is a basic unit which contains a self-recognition model, and then a normalization layer, and then a feedback forward, right? So now how the function is pretty straightforward, right? So basically we're calculating values, queries, values, and keys, right? And the key thing is we're generating some affinity between the sentences, right? If it is sentence, how each word is related to other, so that it can predict a next word, or it can predict a classification, or it can predict a sentiment, or whatever about the text, right? So that the training, however you train. Now, primarily, when the input goes in, the training happens, and then mostly, if it is an error, there's a loss function that goes in and corrects it, and then again retrains it, right? So, but this chat GPT models are pretty big, right? They're like 300 billion data points that train, and it's a massive infrastructure that you need. Not only just building the model, but ability to also label the data. And these are very monster models, right? They range somewhere between 175 to 500 billion parameters. So it's very difficult for to productionize, right? So something that we do to productionize, because one thing that is very important for us is each site has a different DNA, right? So site Home Depot is different from Lowe's. I can tell you that. They're selling the same products, but different customers do come from Lowe's. Different customers buy from Home Depot, right? Understanding your users, your products that you're selling and how they're selling, because from Lowe's, probably mostly home users do come. And if you go into the Home Depot, mostly construction workers buy, right? So there's a lot of like understanding this differentiation is a key thing, right? So we train specifically for each site and the users and the products and how they're related. And for that to happen, we have to build custom models for each of the sites. And that is where we do see there is incremental value that we bring in conversion, in average basket value sizes, all of that. So this is a very simple model of fine tuning it, right, and customizing. The other thing that we do also, guys, is that these are bigger models. So we distill the model, we build a smaller model, customize that for a specific site. And also what we also realize is this, just I talked about the self-attention model. It's a very expensive operation. So we use something called flash attention mechanism to make it faster, effective computation, and also effective results, predictions in the process. So the stack option, again, if you are building one of this, or if you have a plan of building this, or if you are evaluating a vendor, if they're not talking in this language, there is something wrong with them, right? That they're probably fooling you. So there are a lot of, not just the model, but the entire thing has to come together. The data pipeline side of it, the model side of it, and the inference side of it. So for data pipeline, we use Airflows, embedding models, we use OpenAI, Hugging Face, and custom models, as we told. And then also we do image generations for products. So we use something called stable diffusion models as well. And then we use vector databases to store all of these embeddings, right, into Solar right now. Solar, we're using 9.0. If you're interested in Solar, below 9.0, they don't support vector similarity search. These are all the embeddings that goes into our databases, the user embeddings, the product embeddings, right? And they always remain in the same space, right? So that's a very important thing. You do not want to use a different vector space for products and different vector space for the shoppers, because that would give a discrepancy. You should always use only single model. It could be custom model, or it could be some external model. You should always use a single model, because that's how the vector similarity works. If you're doing on a different two vector spaces, the vector similarities won't give you good results. And the inferences, pretty much we do Kubernetes and Databricks. The orchestration, we have built our custom. You can use LangChain as well. There's LLM cache which goes to the external, and we cache it into our systems as well, which use custom Redis, right? And then the APIs, we use OpenAI, GPT 4.5, and as well as Hugging Face, right? LLM models mostly, again, Hugging Face, open, and custom models that we distill into smaller models, so the inference is much faster and cost effective as well. So I think that's where I want to stop about the technology. Right now, I want to get into the most interesting spaces, the applications. How, you can ask me, Arvind, how is this all helping to build the best experience for our shoppers, right? It's very simple, right? What we're increasingly noticing from our customers is that people are using this neural recommendations, or neural search, or neural badging. We are seeing that they're able to increase the key KPI metrics, from average basket value to conversion metrics by 2x to 3x, right? So, and basically it's a very, very simple, in the neural recommendations, we take the anchor product, convert into embedding shopper data, and relate them together with the existing products in the recommendation. That often gives a lot of recommendations that we're right now powering on all our customer sites, frequently brought together to viewed, also viewed, right? Or recently, not recently used, but trending, all of that kind of stuff. We're able to use these neural recommendations. And I can tell you that people are using it. They have seen their average order value increase by 2x in weeks. And the other one application I can think about is auto product catalog. It's a very, very interesting aspect. Today, there's like $10 billion spend that is happening every year by the merchants to improve their product cataloging or building new product cataloging, right? And it involves massive workforce, manual workforce, and that can be really built upon ChatGPT, right? So a few things that we do is primarily extract features, right? The color, the fabric, the style, right? All of that, we gather those information, even materials also at a very high level, we gather those information. And that is ingested into ERP systems, CRM systems, and PIM systems, right? And also generating auto description, product description. Why is it important? Some of the customers do ask us, Arvind, we are going international. Can you generate in Japanese language, product description, pricing, and then product titles, right? And in some countries like India, right, we're right now partnering with L&T. They're like 25 languages. Each one of them wants a different product description, because not a different product description, different language product descriptions, right? The 25 states. So each one talks different languages. So ability to generate that on fly is very important. The other part is, which we're working on, is that ability to merge with the personalization, which is very important. For example, if Matt is buying a phone and he's interested in a screen, right? And I'm interested in battery, right? So can we build a product description on the fly that describes more about screen for Matt and battery for Arvind, right? So those are the things that we're experimenting right now, but something that we're very excited about, because this auto product catalog is going to revolutionize how the e-commerce product catalog is done and reform into the next level of it, right? Bringing the personalization and the ability to bring closer to what shopper wants and buy with confidence. And the return rate also decreases a lot using our products as well, because customers are buying more confidently because they're getting the 360-degree view about the products. And the other application is neural science. It's very, very interesting concepts, right? Because this embeddings not only just keep a representation of queries or your product information, but they create a semantic information, right? So if somebody types a pull over, we should be able to show sweaters, we should be able to show knits, because the vector similarity is closure. They're encoding more of a similarity, semantical information, and syntactic information, right? So if you look into pull over, they're like far apart from laptop, far apart from a smartphone, far apart from sports car, but they're very close to sweat and knit, right? And this is what encoded in this neural networks, where we use this LLM models to build this encoding, not only just on the text, but also on the images. So for example, on our customer side, we're enabling shop similar, right? These are all image embeddings, and the AI understand what images are closer and how close those are. And then we're picking top K or top P from the results, right? And now the other one is content personalization, right? It's a very, very important aspect of it, especially when the e-commerce companies want to scale up their operations across different countries. It's a challenge for them, right? Not only just building the content in different languages, but also images is a very, very important, right? If you're selling your product, your clothes in India, probably an Indian woman wearing that cloth is much more sellable than a white woman wearing, right? And in Asia, an Asian woman wearing the shirt or pant, whatever it is, sells more because they can relate. And how do we generate all of this, right? And something that we are experimenting right now is stable diffusion, where automatically we're building this images on the fly based on your selected features. For example, you can select hair, you can select the body type, all of that can be done and automatically generated. You don't need a photographer, you don't need a model, and this model's never been existed in the world, right? They're built by AI, and that's an important personalization that we are working on it, which is very exciting phase. But this is something that I really have a big hunch that is going to change how we're going to shop. Connecting with the moment is called, right? It's a very, very important that we connect with the moment, not with queries, not with whether shopper is looking for product X or product Y. Why is he looking for? If we know that, that's a game changer, guys, right? So that's exactly what we're doing with this chat GPT, right? So for example, I can say that my niece is turning 3 years old and I want to recommend Lego products, right? So, and then it gives you a set of recommendations which are categorized in various concepts, which we call, right? Encouraging to imaginative play, teaching, to open-ended, to creativity and whatnot, right? We can categorize this and then show what you can buy, and then you can pick it up. In every journey, in the part of the journey of a shopper, you're guiding to buy the best product, right? Putting smiles on the faces. So this is going to be really, really changing how we perceive, how we do basic commerce, right? And I heard that Amazon is working on that, right? Connecting with moments, and something we are also working on it, which is an exciting product, especially connecting what they want rather than connecting with just products. Oh, they're looking at this product. What do I do? You don't have that intent. It is very clear when they're writing out their intent and guiding them through this shopper journey in a much more effective way. And the key challenges here, guys, in an AI, right? We need to always recommend the product that are in the store. So how do we take this information that the shopper has given, and how do we map those products into the products that the merchant is selling? So those are some of the challenges that we are working, but we're pretty close. We will do our testing with a couple of design partners. We're very excited about it as well. So with that said, what you might want to ask, Arvind, all of this is good. Are your customers benefiting, right? Yes, they're certainly benefiting it, right? They're seeing average revenue uplift. They're seeing average order value increasing across all the metrics, right? And every key metrics they want to track is significantly, we're seeing growth within weeks. So that is something that I've never witnessed, right? In the past solution, mostly it takes months to deploy their product, and often this our customer says that they don't know if it is generating ROI, right? We want a better system which is most transparent, easy on deployment, and automate all our workflow. Something that we see that the generative AI is a key to the growth and building the new commerce experience that the world is demanding today, right? So we're very excited about this phase, but now I think I want to stop here. I think we have 8 minutes left. but certainly we can extend that if you guys are open to having more questions. But certainly if you guys want more information, reach out to us, and I'm more than happy to get onto a call and give more information, guys. So I will open Srikanth for questions.
Guys, any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or feel free to send it my way. I think Amar has a couple of questions just to get it started, right? First question is product recommendations, pre-generative AI versus product recommendations post-generative AI, right? How does generative AI-based technology impact the commerce sales as compared to pre-generative AI technology?
Yeah, that's a very important question, right? The key thing for us always, Srikanth, is, or anybody's asking this question is, how do we bring ROI, right? It's always about the value that we bring. We pride upon that, right? When we build right products that customers' life becomes easy and more profitable, more empowering, that empowers us as well. So we do A/B testing always, right? In the A/B testing, we do know that how the pre-generative AI technologies versus our technologies, or any generative AI technologies, right? And that clearly have key metrics that we focus on is average basket value to conversion and incremental value. Something that we cannot forget to mention is that how are we bringing, right? If we replace with product X, how are we bringing value, right? And often we do see, Srikanth, is that across all the key metrics, we are be better by 2x in every metrics, Srikanth.
Cool. Another question. Most companies such as Bloomreach and Dynamic Yields use cookies to personalize. How will personalization happen when cookies are gone?
Very good question. So that comes back to my first question, first explanation that the first party data, right? First party data is a key to succeed in a cookieless world. So most of the current merchants, even enterprise merchants, right, today are not able to harness the first party data. Why? Because the collection systems are broken, they're siloed, right? And then they cannot empower the real time. Those are the two big problems that we have seen. The customers that we talk is mostly, yes, they're collecting, they're going into some warehousing, and they never harnessed, right? The key thing to succeed in a cookieless world is all about harnessing that in real time, understanding the intent and the ability to optimize that experience. And in the cookieless world, it's more important because you will never know the intent and the history of the person who landed up on the site, right? So, and understanding that intent and making the journey for them to convert, that means that we need to understand in real time how is interacting, what is his intent today, why is he here today? Those are the basic questions our systems do ask, right? Or our systems investigate while they're on the site, and that enables us to give better experience in real time, right? And the reason, well, there are a couple of reasons. Once they leave your site, Srikanth, they're never coming back, right? They're never coming back. So unfortunately, if you're not optimizing, you lost the opportunity. And much worse is losing for customer lifetime value if they feel that the site is not giving even a good experience. That in fact is much worse because they will never land up in your site, though you're running hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars in the ads, right? That's exactly happening with some of the customers like JCPenney, and they're stuck in their old world where really they're not able to provide the best shopping experience. And the key thing is the first party data, not the third party cookie data, right? And also the other problem with the third party cookie data is often crunched offline by Google or Facebook. These are the big guys who have all your cookie data, right? And often what happens is this information is not the right way to put ad or retarget, because think about, right? I might have already bought the item and then you're still showing me the ad. So you're losing the money, right? So out of the bat, you're losing the money, right? Or I might have changed. So the key thing is the first party data. When the customer lands or the shopper lands, convert them, right? That's the key. Any question, guys?
Sorry, thanks for that. Also, feel free to unmute and ask questions if you have any other questions, or feel free to send them via chat as well. One more question come through. How do you mitigate any limitations in the AI systems?
In what term the limitations? Can you explain a little bit what is the limitation in terms of computing or in terms of solution or
I guess there's no details here, but feel free to talk about how scope can be limited in AI, for example.
yeah. So the scope can be limited in multiple ways, right? And I can talk about some legal, some basically the efficiency, effectiveness, right? So the scope can be limited if you're not very well fine-tuned your systems, right? And the key thing for these products or these solutions is that understanding your shopper and product and ability to fine tune that is a very important part. You just can't say, oh, I got it from OpenAI and I will use it. That's not going to work. The second thing is that also leads into legal problems, right? As you guys hearing about OpenAI getting into legal lawsuits and all of that, with the writers, authors, whatnot, right? So it will be a big part in the larger scope where you are affected by using this OpenAI rather than the custom model. The key thing is ability to take those models, ability to fine tune it, ability to understand your your site, your shoppers is a key. That's your DNA, right? And the time that you don't understand your DNA, mostly the solutions won't work or ineffective in many forms of shape, right? So the key thing is to customize it and fine tuning it, and you can effectively avoid those limited scopes that can be challenging sometimes.
Cool. I think there's a question that's asking if the event's recorded. It is. And we'll reach out to you separately as well. All right, I think we are at the top of the hour. If there are any other questions, feel free to reach out to us via email. Arvind's email is on the screen, and we'll be happy to connect with you and answer any further questions. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye. Thanks, Srikant, for organizing.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.